Hey guys, Stephen Howell here. Hope you're doing awesome. In this video, we're going to be talking all about the Deal Machine app. This is going to be a step-by-step tutorial, and I have a treat for you. I have a guest that I'm bringing on who is a VP over at Deal Machine that is going to be walking through click by click how to use the software, how to use the app. We're going to be talking everything from how to pin properties, how to plan your routes, how to go about skip tracing and doing the calling and the texting and the direct mail, basically all your marketing efforts around the Deal Machine app, how to go about hiring drivers and training drivers, best practices, best tips, things to avoid. And I'm super excited about this because Matt is connected with some of the biggest operators in the country who are running 6- and 7-figure real estate operations, who are using Driving for Dollars as a primary marketing channel. So you're gonna get to learn some of the best practices from someone who is connected with some of the biggest operators across the country. So super excited to bring him on. If you're new to the channel here, definitely welcome. We're talking all about real estate investing, wholesaling houses, and just becoming a better entrepreneur, a better investor. So I'm super excited to have you here. So if you're new to the channel, definitely welcome. The fact that you're here consuming this content is something that I do not take lightly. So super honored to have you here. And for those of you who are watching video after video, as you know, we're rolling out 3 videos a week. I'm actually here in my home office, so this is gonna be a new setting that you guys see, and I'm super excited. Have a lot of fun recording these videos. I wanna remind you guys that this is part of a series that we're doing on Driving for Dollars, and I'm gonna go ahead and link that here above. So make sure that you watch the other videos in this series because these kind of all build on top of each other. And as always, I want to hear from you guys. I want this to be interactive, so I want to hear from you in the comments. So let me know what areas you're struggling with, and I actually take time to read each and every comment. So I'd love to hear from you. And again, if you're new to the channel, you can browse some of the other videos here. Be sure, if this content is resonating with you, be sure to go ahead and hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new content comes out. And guys, if you're watching this video and you do enjoy it and you've got value out of it, when you hit that like button, it helps this video to circulate, which means a ton to me, and I appreciate that. So guys, let's go ahead and dive in. On this video, I'm gonna bring on Matt here. We're gonna go through all the ins and outs that we just spoke about. So I have Matt on standby here. Let's go ahead and dive right into the computer and get started. Hey guys, welcome to the video. So we have a special treat here. Matt Camp with Deal Machine. VP is on with us here, and Matt is a super cool guy. He's going to kind of walk us through Deal Machine. And so as you're watching these training videos, we're talking about a lead generation strategy. We're talking about a marketing channel that we've coined Outdoor Operator. And so the effort here is to get a healthy supply of leads coming into your business on a weekly basis, on a daily basis even, and how to kind of strategically go about that, how to get the numbers on your side. And so as you've been going through some of these videos, you've seen that, you know, the number we've talked about is going out there, driving and getting 50 properties per day, which is 250 properties a week, 1,000 properties a month. And so we thought it'd be super, super helpful for Matt to come on here and show us inside what this Deal Machine software, you know, really looks like, some best practices, mistakes to avoid, and just when we think about, okay, pinning the properties, what does that mean? What does that look like? And then if we, you know, choose to skip trace the properties and direct mail the properties, what does that look like? And then later, after we've really developed a rhythm and you've done some deals using this strategy, maybe you don't want to drive for dollars for the rest of your life. Maybe you want to build a team around this and really kind of turn this into a business and an operation. We want to just, you know, hear maybe some best practices. And Matt is connected with some amazing investors around the country. And so thought it would be super helpful to bring him on here and just pick his brain a little bit. And so we're gonna dive right in, guys. So Matt, welcome, man. So glad to have you on here. How you
Yeah,
doing?
doing great. Yeah, thanks again for having me on. And I love how you set the expectation of like, hey, you guys got to get out there, make it a consistent routine, like treat it like any good habit, like going to the gym or anything like that. It's something that will get easier over time, but it takes the hard work and the consistent follow up and putting in some grit like that to be able to see results. So I love that if you set that expectation, go in and really understand that it's about consistency like that, you're setting up for your success, you're setting yourself up for success to begin with.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I will share my screen here to help you guys kind of really dig in and show, exactly how the technology that we've built is helping you kind of hit those numbers. I think everything that we do is really focused on that consistency. It's like you said, how do you generate those leads? So how do you build a list that no one else has, an original list that you yourself or a team that you've hired is, created by getting out there and getting outdoors and driving around and physically validating with your own eyes, this is a distressed property, this is a qualified lead to try to get in touch with. And everything we've done on the software side is to make that process as simple and easy as possible to build that list, and then to market to that list, to be able to get out there and send them direct mail, to skip trace and give them a call or a text, or I know you have a variety of marketing channels you recommend. That's phenomenal. Like it's going to take a handful of touch points to get on people's radar, and then to stay top of mind with them, so that way when the timing is right and they are ready to sell, you're the one they're thinking of, and you're the one that's been nurturing that relationship and staying top of mind the whole time. So going in, I love that you're already setting people up for success in terms of aiming for a lead, a high lead number, and then a consistent follow through with them.
So glad you touched on that, Matt. It's so important. In the phrase that you used, I use that all the time in my own business, with my employees, with my customers and students. It's staying top of mind. Like with these sellers, there's all sorts of things they're going through, and it's so easy to to kind of get lost in the mix. And I think when you put the numbers on your side, that as far as doing this consistently, quantity, we're talking like a large number of properties, not just 5 or 10 properties here and there, but then also there's multiple touch points with marketing to stay top of mind. And when you really kind of gel that all together over time, that's when big results start to happen. And so just refreshing to hear, Matt. Glad we are on the same wavelength there, my friends.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it actually brings me to a good point here. Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Cool. Yep. So on this dashboard here, this is actually a brand new kind of goals oriented calculator focused on helping you set those metrics and those KPIs you're talking about, of like how consistently do I need to get out there? How often should I be driving? How many leads do I need to be adding to really see results? If you're doing like that, the volume that you're talking about of 1,000 a month, that is phenomenal. Like that is what you're gonna see success with that number. Like that, from a statistical perspective on our end, this calculator we've built out, we actually have seen across our deal machine, member base, that usually once you hit that 300 number, like that first 300 qualified properties within deal machine, that's kind of the first big hurdle to get over, because at that point, statistically, that's when our members are usually landing that first deal. Which, we have plenty of people who they added a handful of properties and got one. They got lucky. That's great. It happens. We have some that it's going to take longer, and their market is, tougher to get on people's radar. And, we'll take closer to that, a couple hundred or 1,000 like you're talking about. But if you can hit that volume of properties of 50 a day, like you are setting yourself up for success to land one or multiple deals a month like this, where the calculator we've built out to start with, we want you to kind of think through, okay, what's the time breakdown of being able to actually hit that type of volume when it comes to adding leads and pinning them and putting them in our system. So to start with, like you can see here, we talk about kind of top line profit. So you can set numbers around, what you're looking for there. Then it says per deal, what are you expecting to bring in? And it kind of spits back and says, hey, here's here are our goals to hit those numbers. So if we're saying, 20,000 top line profit from 20,000 per deal, then yeah, that's going to be one deal a month. That deal, our default, like I mentioned, is 300 leads per month, or 300 leads per deal is kind of the ratio we put in here, but it may be higher or lower depending upon the market. And then in terms of driving, we say like, hey, a pretty reasonable number is to do 12 properties an hour. We definitely have people who are doing up to like 60 if they really get good at this. But I think 12, one every 5 minutes, right there is I think definitely a reasonable number to shoot for in our experience. So this kind of will spit back and tell you like, here's how many hours a week you need to be able to hit that number. Here's how many leads you need to be able to hit that deal. So it at least kind of helps you set those expectations that, I know going through your course, they're already thinking through these metrics, but we want to reinforce that every time they log into Deal Machine, like, hey, build this good habit, start to really the more, it's a numbers game. Like the more you fill the top of the funnel, the more the bottom of the funnel is going to convert.
Absolutely. This metric that you guys have put together here is awesome. I love the tool, just everything from the colors to the simplicity and stuff like that. Like I'm a nerd about stuff like that, but I think it's really helpful just to see it visually like that. And I know there's a lot of us who are like visual learners, and just to kind of see that there. And that goes right in line with what we've kind of outlined in Outdoor Operator is, if you're pinning 50 properties a day, that's going to be about 4 hours. I said 3 to 4 hours of drive time. So it's
perfect,
very close to what you have there, which is awesome. And, that's the idea, with folks. It's like, we can't guarantee results, but even with, 300 leads nationally that you guys have kind of looked at all the different operators' businesses through the whole country. And it's like 300 leads a month usually results in a deal. So if we're talking 1,000 leads a month, I mean, the whole idea is to be able to land 1 to 2 consistent deals a month, using this lead gen strategy, kind of going all in on this and really committing and focusing. And that gives us some cushion. And I love that. I love kind of being, having that extra little cushion in there. And like you said, you can get better and better with this and more efficient. So good stuff, man.
Yeah, completely. And to get to those numbers, I mean, you can scroll down and see more analytics around like mailers you have going out, leads that are going, the ROI of all of this. But to get to those numbers, we created this technology to help you drive for dollars. And what you're talking about, you mentioned like, how do you pin that volume of properties, and what does that even mean? Like, where do you even start? Right. Mm-hmm. So I can click on the map here. This is really the feature that Deal Machine started with, that we're known for, is our driving for dollars options, which you can see. I've tracked a route here that I need to delete on my end. Went out to the car and came back. But I know in general, what you can see here is a map that you've got every black pin on here or every black dot on here is a property that I have not pinned yet, whereas every green dot is one that I have pinned. Where you can, as you're driving down the street, you'll be able to, take out your phone, take out the app here, be able to drive around and see, okay, I've got, let's see, I'm driving past right here, 5400 Gothi. Let's see, it's an owner occupied property. So if I, drive down the street, I see, oh, here's a distressed property that for whatever reason, the property owner is not taking care of. It has, a tarp on the roof, or broken windows, or gutter falling off, or, very obvious things like that, all the way through to, I know one of our VPs, the very first deal he ever landed, they just had, Halloween decorations up, and it was February. So it was like little things like that, where it's like, okay, something's off there. Like they're just not taking care of everything on the outside. So maybe they're looking to sell, or maybe they'd be open to the idea of selling that property. So looking for those signs of physical distress, and when you see that, pulling over, clicking on the property, seeing more statistics about it around, anything that the county assessor has, we're going to pull in right into the app here. You can see if it's, absentee owned, you can see if it's vacant or pre-foreclosed, or whatever the particular status of that property might be. And then when you pin it, you just hit add lead. your phone will prompt you and actually ask to take a picture of that property, because if you send mailers directly from the app, that picture is going to go on that mailer automatically. So that way, which, the automation there, one, it's going to really, really improve your response rate. So that's phenomenal. But two, like, we actually get people all the time who they're like an absentee owner. They own this property. They're 3 states away and they don't even know what their house looks like on the outside. Like, they get the postcard and they're like, shocked by that.
Yeah.
So that happens all the time too. So that it'll prompt you on your mobile phone. It'll prompt you to say, hey, take a picture of that property. And when you add it to your lead list, you'll see pending approval. It doesn't have marketing or anything like that going on yet. Like, you can put with marketing right here, or what I like to do, you scroll down, you've got 2 options to get in touch with them, which I know you teach a ton of marketing channels. Like, we don't recommend these being the only things you're doing. Like, we make these 2 things really easy, but combine it with everything else you're doing. That's great. You can skip trace the owner. So on the spot, you can click and search for phone numbers, email addresses, any other mailing addresses. You can skip trace them on the spot and give them a call right there, which I'd say our most successful users are doing right there. If we don't have it, okay, there you go. You've got 2 phone numbers, 2 email addresses. So you can see,
so cool.
that comes in right there. So, make that super easy. Our most successful users, again, are doing that on the spot and calling and saying, like, hey, I just drove by. I noticed this about your property. Would you be open to selling? I'm a local investor. Like, you can be very friendly about it because you're right there. And then the other option, the more automated option, is the mailer feature that we have right here. So you can see, and you can click on the mailer to see what it's going to look like. You'd have a big picture of the house pop up right here if you took a picture already. But you actually can hit start send mailers right here. And you'll see, okay, I have this on to send every 21 days and just repeating. So when we're talking about, staying top of mind, that's what we mean, is like, you can set it and forget it. Every 21 days, they're going to get a postcard from you until you take them off that campaign. Or we can dive into best practices around mail, and I'll show you how to get a really custom outreach campaign beyond just sending the same postcard over and over again. So
that is super, super cool. I love how you can do it in the moment, and like you said, it's technology, but it's making things super, super simple. Because I love doing that. Some of my best deals have come from just helping to cultivate that relationship with the seller. And when you can be personal about whether it's the Halloween decorations outside, or, you're just the investor, kind of the naive investor passing down the street, and hey, no big deal, but I thought I'd just give you a quick shout. When you get this, call me on my cell. It's just so less scary than some big corporate company like approaching you, or some, investor that's all scary. It just lightens that resistance. And it allows you to just, if you can skip trace it right there, call them right there, that's something that you don't have to procrastinate later. So
completely.
I just wanted to hone in on that, guys. That's such a powerful tip that Matt just gave. Absolutely love that, man.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, the not procrastinating, like when it comes to biggest mistakes that we see in general, when it comes to driving for dollars, like, one, it's taking action to begin with. It's like getting out there and not just listening to this information and taking it in, but overcoming your paralysis analysis if you're just, only consuming information, and really taking action, because this is something you're going to learn more on the go. You're going to learn more as you get out there, as you start to do things. So taking action and taking the right action, not just adding the lead to your list, but like you said, don't procrastinate. Like, on the spot, skip trace, give them a call, shoot them a text right there. When it comes to mailers, I usually I usually call on the spot, but then add all the properties to my lead list, so that way when I'm done driving, I can just go through and hit send mail to each of them and customize it in there at that point. So that's a little bit of a pro tip there on what a lot of our users find easiest. But being able to come in and take the right action consistently, have guaranteed follow-up, because these repeat mailers are going to keep going out there for you. Like, that's another huge mistake we see from investors, is if they do all this work, build this amazing list, drove all over the place, and have this list that no one else has, because they found these properties that you can't just pull off some lead, or buy a lead list or anything. So they have this amazing list, but they only they put out all this work, send out one mail, postcard to everybody, and then expect a bunch of calls to come in. Like it just doesn't, you have to get lucky with timing to stay top of mind until the timing's right. So in terms of mistakes we see, it's like, take action, take the right action, take consistent action, and then learn from those actions. So learn, whenever you are out there driving for dollars, realize what are those things what neighborhoods are you finding them in? What things, what physical distress signals are you finding that you are landing deals from? Or, what mail campaigns are you putting out there that are working? Like really kind of reverse engineer any deal that you win to figure out why you won that deal and do more of that.
That's so good. And one thing, Matt, before I forget to ask you on this, because I think it's super important, is on the direct mail. You mentioned pinning those to like a list, and I love the fact that it can repeat. So if folks are, let's say, pinning 50 properties a day, let's just use that as a metric. Do you recommend sending mail? Is there a certain threshold? I guess what I'm trying to ask is there a certain threshold in Deal Machine that you have to have a list that's a certain size before you can send the direct mail? Or can you just send them one by one? Or do you need a list of 50, a list of 100? Or do you need to wait till the end of the week till that list is at 250 and then start that mail? How does that work in the kind of sphere of Deal Machine?
Yeah, so we make it really easy to one by one if you'd like to start mailers like this. So, we definitely have people who they'll go out there, they'll add an individual property, they'll give them a call, they'll text them, they left a voicemail, and then they just hit send mail on the spot and start it. So that way they've knocked out every touch point right away for them. One way to make it really easy to bulk send mail like that, and this is what I was talking about when I said like, hey, I like to create my lead list and then come back and send the mailers after I'm done. If you go to this leads tab right here, this is essentially a free CRM through Deal Machine, where you can, every property that you've ever pinned, you'll find it here. If you use our list pulling engine in here, that'll also pull right here. If you import lists, so you can import, if you have just like an Excel sheet or something, or if you have, contacts in another software, whatever it might be, you can import that list into here. And this leads feature is actually completely free. So you don't even have to be using any of our other software, but you can use this leads feature for free and be able to come in here and see when I add a property address or when I import any kind of property, we automatically for free backfill all of this information. So that way you get sale date, you get assessed value, you get equity percent if we have it, you have owner type, if it's absentee, if it's corporate owned, you'll find out all of that. Now the phone numbers, that requires a skip trace. So like anytime you're skip tracing or anytime you're sending mail, especially in bulk, just know it's part of your marketing budget. Like I know our mailers, they cost about 55 cents per postcard.
Okay.
If you're on our basic plan, and our skip tracing costs about 17 cents per skip trace if you're on our basic plan. So just make sure you budget for that. But going in here, like if you drive around, if you add those 50 leads and then you say, okay, they're all ready for mail, you can just click this top kind of bulk select button and then hit start mailers, and you'll automatically start all 50 of them on that mail campaign.
That's awesome. Yeah. So
So
there's no restriction then on the quantity of mailers, whether it's 50 or 5,000. You can do it all from this leads tab.
Yeah, as long as you have the proper marketing budget, which you'll upload deal credits in here to be able to cover that. As long as you have the proper marketing budget in your Deal Machine account, then and actually to manage your mail campaigns, let me show you this here really quick too.
Yeah.
On the dashboard, there are two little buttons up in this right corner. You've got the activity feed, so that just shows you like everything going on in your account, and then you've got this calendar, which is actually a brand new feature that you can actually manage your mail campaigns from here. So you can see how many mail, which I haven't sent any mail from this specific account, but you can see how much mail you sent, how much is scheduled, what's in the queue, how much it's going to cost. Like you can really see when it goes out and plan your marketing budget accordingly. So that way, if I have 50 properties or 1,000 properties in here, and all 1,000 of them are going to get a piece of mail every month, then know that you have enough money budgeted that you have 1,000 times 55 cents, so $550 a month that you're going to spend on mail, right?
That's
So,
awesome.
so yeah, so you can kind of manage all of that in this little calendar view as well.
That is super cool. Okay, good deal. Good
Yeah.
deal.
Really quick before we jump out of the map. So just kind of to show you the navigation here, like you said, we've got the dashboard, which is the goal setting, and it's, you know, the analytics and it's the calendar. You've got the leads tab I showed you, which is the CRM that's free that you can easily see your lead list of leads and be able to update all the information there and take action on them through there. In the maps feature, a couple pro tips really quick. One, you've got this highlights button. So if you click highlights right here, you get a quick list of all different types of property, like, different motivations potentially, and states that the property might be in. So if I go in here, I can say, hey, show me all the absentee owned properties, apply that preset, show them all within this map view, and it'll automatically pull these green boxes over those properties for you. So that
Wow.
way, if you're out driving for dollars, like, we don't only recommend going to these properties, but know that if you preset, you can get really custom and say, hey, show me all the absentee owned properties that, have sold for, it's less than a 300K and haven't sold for over 10 years, and get really specific. So that way I know, oh, these two properties, when I drive by this street, I should really look at those. And if they look distressed at all, they fit every other criteria, like, let's market to that property.
Yeah. I
So
love that. You can really pinpoint it, and layer on some extra motivation there. That's huge.
yeah, so these highlight features, I think that's a big one that'll separate you from in terms of the ROI on your marketing budget. Like, it's going to make every dollar you spend go even further, because you're sending it to the exact right direct owner. It's a really qualified lead, right?
Yeah.
I don't have it on here because it's actually just launching this week. But our planned route mode is something that is brand new for our pro level members and up. So our pro level members, they can already track their route, which, wherever I can find that green squiggle on here, that was me me accidentally tracking my route. But you can see actually you'll see green lines pop up of where you've driven if you're a pro level member and up with us. So you can actually plan out and say, okay, I see where I've driven recently. They turn yellow at 6 months and turn red at a year, so you can see how long ago you've driven those areas too. So you can track your routes in general and kind of make it really easy for you to know which neighborhoods you want to do next.
Yeah.
But our planned route mode that we're just launching now is, if you have a particular list of leads in your CRM, or if you hit the highlights feature and say, hey, take me to every single property that's vacant in my area and apply that preset, and hit planned route mode, it'll say, okay, you've got, in your zip code, you've got 200 properties that are vacant. We're going to guide you to the exact quickest route possible, and the GPS will automatically start within the Deal Machine app, and it'll tell you, go here, then go here, then go here, then go here, and it'll take you the most efficient route possible on how to drive that exact list. So it's route planning.
Oh,
Mhm.
I love how you guys are like constantly making iterations and changes and updates, making this better and like thinking from like the user, perspective. It's really, really cool. And as you were talking about that, the pro versus the basic, I should have, and I got links throughout this outdoor operator section of the program here, guys. But just Matt, while we have you on,
Yeah.
if you don't mind just talking about, and guys, there's a link right below this training video for you to get going with Deal Machine. I mean, this app is, I believe if you're going to be driving for dollars and being an outdoor operator, I mean, it's just critical. What are the different plans, Matt,
Yeah.
from basic to pro? And just a quick little, chat about that.
Yeah, and I'll pull this up to make it visually easy for you guys to see here too. But yeah, from a pricing perspective, depends on what plan you're on. Again, our CRM is free, so that's that leads tab right here. When you go to this leads right here, that's free. Up to 50,000 contacts for free within that. So that's all really easy to get started with. The street engine, so that's our driving for dollars specific feature. That would be your maps tab right here. That's what I'm showing off on here. And then driving, if you're going to hire a driving team for you, which we can kind of get into that as a next level strategy as well. You're looking at, $49 a month for basic, up to 500 leads a month there. What you're talking about of the 1,000 lead goal per month, that would be our professional plan. And that's our most popular plan, because you've got route tracking, like I'm talking about. You've got route planning included in that. Our Chrome extension is our virtual driving for dollars. So that is, if you want to be able to jump into it's a Chrome extension here, where if you want to jump into your map, your Google map, and go to Street View, you can literally drive around Street View and do the same thing through Google Maps. So pretty cool feature you get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know quite a few people doing that actually, that are just like, hey, like, with everything going on, like they're just like, hey, I'm gonna do this from the comfort of my own home. So that's always an option, guys, too.
Yeah. So the pro level gets you that as well. And then again, in terms of the marketing budget, you'll want to make sure you keep in mind, like, any postcard's going to cost 55 cents and any skip trace is 17 cents there. So, that's kind of the basic and pro plan. And then enterprise level is if, it's a couple $100 a month. If you are going to really focus on building a driving team, which we can get into next, like that is what this plan is for, is to be help you, if you want to build a whole army out there driving for you, like that's the plan that is built around that specific approach.
Excellent. Well, yeah, thank you, Matt. And
and
guys, we got a special little code here beneath this video as well for you guys also. So
yep. And I think really quick here, I know the list engine that we have, this is the list pulling piece, which we always recommend driving for dollars as kind of your go-to strategy for generating leads. We also had a ton of data of like, hey, if you want to just pull a list and market to that list, you can do that at a really cheap price within Deal Machine as well. That's what this list feature is too. But really, like, the maps and leads are where we're going to really be living for most of this. So
absolutely, good deal.
Yeah. I know if they go through your link as well, we wanted to make sure we hooked up everybody that's listening to this right now. So I know you get actually $15 worth of free deal credits. So when we're talking about like the skip tracing, that's like what, 100 skip traces, or 30 mailers essentially. Like those deal credits go towards those other activities. So I would say, like, definitely take advantage of that, where if you go through your link, you're going to get those deal credits, whereas if you just went to the site, you wouldn't. So make sure if you're going to do like a 7-day free trial with us, go through that link, get your deal credits, get out there, start driving, and start actually making conversations happen for free using all that. So
yeah, I mean, with those credits, I mean, that's almost 100 properties that you can drive. Call them right there with the skip trace, basically for almost free, and then that's 100 properties. I mean, you're starting to put the numbers on your favor. We talked about 300 properties equaling one deal. You're a third of the way there. So so guys, yeah, that's really powerful.
Yeah, and I think I love that the whole feature thing you mentioned. I wanted to briefly say here, like, the route tracking, the highlighting properties, the route planning, the calendar for your mail, all of those things were features that came up. Man, might want to edit that part out. I don't know why that keeps jumping up here on me. Here, let me see here. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
I was gonna say, so from a feature perspective, like, I love that you bring that up, because we've got route planning, route tracking, the calendar that we talked about, all these different features that are little, highlighting properties, all these features that are helping make things easier for you to be able to really, as the investor, understand, how do we get that competitive edge, and how do we use our time most efficiently? How do we, use our budgeting, our marketing budget most efficiently? Like, all those things are features we heard from you that our Deal Machine members will go in and request those features and upvote other ideas and brainstorm and say, hey, we would love if you built this, because this would save us time and save us money. Like, as an investor, that's what our goal. So we love feedback from anybody in the community like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so powerful. And guys, so Matt, what we want to kind of talk about is, and I appreciate just everything that you've touched on, man. It's huge. Is hiring a small team. And so Matt, to give you some perspective here, what we're kind of talking about is, hey, 50 properties a day. I'm really committing to this. You talked about it in the beginning too, consistency, like we're not going to see results if somebody is just like, yeah, let me just try this here and there for a week or two and see if I do something, or maybe I pin 5 or 10 properties. Guys, we want to help you do deals and really make this an impact on yourself and your family. And so, I tell people to go all in on this strategy for a minimum of 3 to 6 months, and 1,000 properties. And so that would be the pro plan, which is, $100 a month on here. But let's say somebody is like, okay, Steve, I've gone all in, man. I'm driving for dollars, and I'm driving, 4 hours a day. I'm pinning a lot of these properties, and I almost treat it like I'm going to like a military boot camp for 3 to 6 months. But you know what? I did 5 or 10 deals, and I launched my real estate business, and I'm like thrilled. But now I want to start, like, I don't want this to feel like a job. I want to build this as a company. So that kind of brings us, and that's, guys, the way that I suggest looking at this. It's like you're going all in so hard for 3 to 6 months, and then the cool part is you're learning the streets, you're learning the little pockets and the towns and the zip codes and the neighborhoods in your market, which is going to make you a better investor. Like, you're going to see which houses are being rehabbed, and you might be able to meet some contractors, and you're just going to be in your market. But next kind of comes up like building a team and hiring a few drivers. And what does that look like? So Matt, while we have you on here, man, knowing that you're connected with some of the biggest operators in the country, I wanted to ask you just a couple of practical tips for people who are thinking about maybe hiring a driver, from how to do that to what to pay them to should they not drive themselves? Should they go right into hiring a driver? Those are just a couple questions, but wanted to get your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah, happy to. And I think you really, love you laying out this kind of, next level strategy of how do you scale. That's why in general, like Deal Machine, we built it so that way it's as simple and easy to use for the beginner as possible to really get in there and start driving themselves. But then as complex as needed for a scaling business who can hire an entire driving team for themselves. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I think keeps popping up on me here. It should fix it. Glad your YouTube wizard can kind of edit a few things out here.
That's right.
Cool. All right. No, I was thinking, I appreciate you bringing up like the idea of being able to scale this entire operation, because I do think like Deal Machine, we've built it to make it as simple and easy as possible for basic beginning real estate investors to get in there and be able to use our the features we've been going through to start driving for dollars, to start learning their neighborhood, to get out there. And you can't really replicate that knowledge. Like, that requires you physically doing those actions, getting used to the idea of driving for dollars and building a great habit out of that. But the next level up from there, like you said, is building that driving team. Like, we want to make, we try to make our technology to be able to scale with people and help them supercharge their lead generation by hiring these bird dogs, or deal finders, as we call them, to really get out there and start driving around and start finding great deals and start to really look for, ways to scale beyond just the time that they have personally. Yeah. So our technology to begin with, I think we've focused it on recruiting new drivers, training them up, and then managing them. So I think that's going to kind of cover those questions you asked around, how to find them, how to, how to incentivize them and manage them. I do recommend, one of your questions, you said like, hey, should we do it ourselves first or not? I do recommend doing that, just because getting out there and doing it yourself at least a little bit to really understand what you're talking about. If you ever need to coach somebody through that type of activity, like just through driving for dollars in general, being able to share best practices and things that are working for you will go a really long way. And you being able to, once you've done it yourself, you'll really know the neighborhoods you are wanting to target and really understand some of the best practices here. Obviously you can always show them like this video as well to give them kind of a training on how to think about driving for dollars. But, I do think our software, again, when it comes to the recruitment piece of it, how we try to help you out here is if you go to this driving tab and then drivers, you'll see recruit drivers is a button if you're on our enterprise level plan. If you're on our basic plan, you do get one driver for free. So you get one driver on your account. If you're on our pro level plan, you get 2 drivers on your account. So, that'll all be included in this driving option. And, that's something that you won't see the recruit drivers button for that, because you're not quite scaling beyond that. Like, the enterprise level plan is when you want to really ramp it up and do 1,000, 2,000 plus leads a month, and you want somebody out there really driving for you. That's what we've built this option for. But when you hit recruit drivers, you'll see a landing page automatically generated, which you can customize the link. But this landing page for you, it's essentially a lead capture tool, form. So that way you can go out there and we recommend posting it on Indeed.com, on Facebook, and in groups where, if you're in front of anything from your personal network to Uber and Lyft drivers, Amazon, DoorDash, there's so many people out there driving right now that would be open to side income, especially if they're like an Uber driver that's in between rides and have a few minutes to take pictures of properties, things like that. We want you to recruit for, people doing, a variety of different things like that. And so that way you can be an extension of what they're already doing and out there driving to do. Right.
Yeah.
So, this particular landing page, we would say post it in all these different places, where you can, it automatically generates a pitch for you to say, here's why you should join my team. You can get pictured or get paid to take pictures, within the Deal Machine app. A video automatically generated to explain that idea. It shows you you can customize all the text, but it's really a lead capture form right here. So that way, when people start to come, to this particular page, you'll get their email address. You can start to communicate with them here. And if you say, yeah, I want to hire them as a driver, at least try them out, you can go back in your Deal Machine app here, really easily invite them by mail and add them to your team. That's and awesome. when you do that, they're going to pop up right here under your team. And if you're on our enterprise plan, if you're on our basic or pro plan, you're going to have to kind of walk them through and train them on how to use Deal Machine. But if you're on our enterprise plan and you're wanting to do this and hire 10, plus drivers or something like that, we automatically generate a training campaign for you. So that way, when they onboard in Deal Machine, they will need to watch, how they, what's the welcome video? What's the overview of what does the distressed property look like? How do I get paid? How do I take photos? How to use Deal Machine and how to drive for dollars. So that way, they're all ready to go. Once they've watched that, they're ready to start finding leads for you.
Yeah, that is incredible, guys. That's a lot of work. I think, and I'm thinking back, I've been in this business about 10 years, and I'm thinking back to the earlier stages of my business and a couple of the first few hires, whether it's a virtual assistant or somebody to assist with direct mail or different things. I think, really all three of the idea of I'm going to have a virtual assistant do this for me or this for me. It's a beautiful thought, but something that I overestimated was the amount of time that it takes to recruit, the amount of time it takes to properly train people, because if people aren't properly trained, they're not going to get the best results. And if it's not a win-win, then you're ultimately going to have a lot of turnover and attrition. And that's ultimately going to take you, away from your business, cost you more money, time, everything. So you said it, man, recruiting, training, managing, I overestimated how much time those things take. So I love that you guys, just kind of thought ahead, even for the enterprise plan, which I think is, $3,000 for the year. So, I mean, that's less than 300 a month for something that guys, if you're able to do this on a big scale and even do 1 or 2 deals a month, I mean, look at the ROI. Just being able to have these videos already in place, I think is just, a game changer. If, you're 3 to 6 months in and you're all right, Steve, I want to hit that 1,000 or 2 leads a month, 2,000 leads a month, having a driver or two, I think is just going to be, it's going to be critical. And you want to kind of start getting your mind wrapped around that I want to, how can I paint the picture of the vision of the business that I want to build? How do I want to take care of people so there's not constantly turnover? And I think, thinking about this like a business and thinking about, hey, it's going to take a little time to recruit and train and manage, but let me use some of these things that help start to stack things in my favor instead of just slapping it together real quick. And so I think that's really, really important. I really want you guys to think about, that long term, because that's what's going to make this campaign more successful for you guys.
Yeah, that leads number too. If you can hit that 2,000 leads plus a month number, I mean, people are like 95% successful with Deal Machine if they're doing that volume. Like you are setting yourself up for success. And by success, I mean multiple deals a month. Like they're doing volume with us if they're hitting that number. So,
Yeah.
if you can recruit those drivers, if you can hire those drivers and train them up, and then manage them properly, which on the management side, we've really tried to make it easy on you guys too, where you can see analytics around here's how far they drove, here's how many, here's the amount of time they spent, here's how many properties they added, here's the exact route they drove. Like you can click and see each individual route, which I don't have any drivers in here right now, but it'll show you all of your tracked routes of what they've done and how long, and that'll help you understand where they need to be driving. It'll help you, when you do win deals, you'll see who added it, where it came from, what neighborhood, all that stuff. And then it really, really helps you when it comes to incentivizing the driver and properly paying them. Like, I know it's going to vary per state in terms of the rules around what's, contract work and things like that. But there's really kind of three main options that we see of how you can pay that driver. There's paying them per close, which is just like purely commission based. And to be honest, we don't really recommend that too much. We've seen people have success with it, but you have to really find a committed driver who buys into the long-term picture. And maybe if you're pitching them on, hey, I'm going to mentor you and show you what I'm doing in this deal and how am I evaluating it, and like really bring them in on your whole process, I think that can work. Yeah. But otherwise, if you're just trying to look for, more like steady drivers who aren't going to be that involved with you, we usually don't recommend that one as much. There's the pay per property, like qualified property added approach, which would say like, hey, if you're adding, 15 deals an hour or, however many per hour, however many I market to, however many I go in and approve are actually, which, you being the account owner, you're the one who's going to be sending the mailers. They don't have any control over your marketing budget. They're just adding leads. Mm-hmm. So when you go in there and you send mail or you skip trace, then you say, hey, I was 15, 12 of them looked great. Like I'll pay you the $12 or whatever it might be. That's one option. And then the other one would be hourly. So paying like, say, hey, 15 bucks an hour, whatever it might be. And we usually recommend a mix if possible. Obviously, like I said, state to state, it differs, but a mix of some kind of hourly incentive with some kind of performance incentive. What typically like number of qualified leads is what we see.
Okay, awesome. And what do you see there? And I know it varies like state to state, but from a qualified lead, like let's say there's 50 qualified leads, do you see folks paying $1 per lead, 50 cents, 25 cents? I'm sure it varies from the bigger markets to the smaller markets. And
right. And you'll want to run the ROI numbers of like, the bigger deals, obviously the better ROI you're going to see. So like, if you're making, 5K on a deal, then maybe you can only afford doing 50 cents a lead. But if you're making, 20K on a deal, then $1 lead's more reasonable. Like you might want to, look at and actually the dashboard, the calculator that we were showing off, it does include like marketing expenses and driver expenses. So, I would say maybe do some math there to figure out like if I'm, what's the profit threshold I need to hit to really pay this driver the proper amount. But I think usually probably most common, we see like $15 an hour and then like $1 a lead is pretty common. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So I think going in here again, the dashboard's kind of your analytics and goal setting. The map is you getting out there driving yourself, and every lead you pin, it'll go into your leads, your CRM right here. You can also pull lists into that, and then driving is the way to take that to the next level, to outsource that, to bring on an entire team to help you kind of fill that top of the funnel with as many leads as possible.
Yeah. Well, Matt, this has been incredibly helpful. And for everybody watching, I appreciate your time coming in here, checking this out. This stuff, guys, it works. It takes discipline and consistency. And I want to challenge you right from the get-go, kind of like the theme that we've talked about is going all in on this strategy, 3 to 6 months, not just dipping the toes in the water. So I challenge you, there is a 7-day trial. But I challenge you to go right for the pro plan or the enterprise plan and really take this serious and really have a goal of doing big numbers. I mean, the folks nationwide that are doing the best with this are doing big numbers. And so we'll talk more about that in some future videos. But guys, this has been a ton of fun. I hope this has been, super valuable and fun for you guys to see. And we get to hear from the man himself, Matt, just, some inside best practices and tips. And, I always look for little golden nuggets there, because I mean, you're talking with some of the biggest and best operators in the country. And so we appreciate your time, Matt, for coming out and showing us around and everything. Yeah. Well, man.
Yeah. Thanks again, Stephen. I mean, I love showing people this. Again, we're a platform, we're a technology to enable your success, but it still requires you to go out there and make things happen. And we're going to make it way more efficient and effective for you and help you save marketing budget and time and all of that. But still, it's up to you to, like you said, commit and get out there and start driving and start making conversations happen. So excited to hear about, all the success stories that come from your students doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be sending them your way, man. So appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Perfect. Thanks, Steve.
So let's go ahead and leave Matt a lot of love in the comments for taking time out of his day to show us this great stuff on Deal Machine. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. And as we talked about in the video, we've put together a special link for Deal Machine that's going to allow you to get a 7-day trial and $15 worth of marketing credits, and that will be in the link of the description. And guys, if you are struggling in your business of like, okay, Stephen, I'm generating a lot of leads now, I'm driving for dollars, I have these 1,000 leads a month, but I need some extra help with filling out contracts and making offers and all the little in-between stuff, the thousands of scenarios that can arise on each and every deal, definitely go ahead and head over to my website, book a call with me, and we'll get on a call and see if it may be a good fit for you to take part in my mentoring program. So guys, if you feel that you're at a place in your business where you need some extra hand holding, that also may be a good fit for you. I enjoyed shooting this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as well. That is all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much.